This week we learn about Triple Zero's origins, we learn a little bit more about battle droids in the Separatist army as far as having a mind of their own, plus we get into why Imperial officers are so frightened of Darth Vader, plus more on Star Wars Weekly. Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter, and if you're new to the channel, every single week I break down a list in Star Wars continuity that includes the comics, novels, TV series, and more. And this week we have a lot of content ranging from Doctor Aphra issue number 30 to Vader Dark Visions issue number 2 to Star Wars Avengers issue number 19, a brand new audiobook announcement, plus I'm going to talk about the update in Star Wars Battlefront 2. So starting things off with Doctor Aphra issue number 30. So we are getting there. This is Worse Among Equals Part 5, and this is quite an issue. Wow, this was a really magnificent issue. I felt some serious things reading through this because it's all about the strong characters that Cy Spurrier and Kieran Gillen have created, right? We have Doctor Aphra, we have Triple Zero. They have these proximity bombs that are implanted in them thanks to Dr. Evazan, and well, they are not being in the greatest shape right now. From the last issue, they have plummeted down in her speeder. It looks like Dr. Aphra's legs are seriously injured to a point where she can't really walk very well. Triple Zero is all over the place, and they are in serious trouble because this Imperial propaganda group has stumbled upon them to try to see what is going on, because little beknownst to them, they are on the entire spectrum of the hollow network for Milvain, this imperialistic type world, and they have to, quiet these Imperial propaganda people. So they're about to kill Aphra and Triple Zero. Aphra lets off this electronic pulse, or rather the seismic pulse, which puts these people out of commission. Aphra wakes up 3 hours later and realizes that all these Imperial propaganda people are dead thanks to Triple Zero going on a massacre. After this, we have this nice kind of conversation between Dr. Aphra and Triple Zero where they both realize they need each other. It's not just because of the bombs. Aphra, her only connection, her only relationship in the last several years has been through Triple Zero. Everybody else she cannot trust, right? Then by the end of this issue, they meet Win-Loss and Nock once again. And apparently Win-Loss and Nock think that these guys are just so pathetic that it's not even worth a kill, and they just let them live, basically. It's pretty interesting stuff there. And by the end of this, Triple Zero finds out his origin, and it's not everything he expected, and it looks like he's just going to go and kill himself. So he's just going to walk away from Aphra knowing that his bomb is going to trigger, and Aphra is on the ground with her legs, I guess, shattered, saying, what the hell, like, I'm gonna die if you keep walking that way. So getting into the things I liked about this issue, first off, is we might have one of the most gruesome scenes in Star Wars ever recorded, and this is seriously something else. So when we have, like I mentioned, Dr. Aphra setting off that seismic pulse that was inside of Triple Zero, she hit it there when she took him offline to get his legs on. Well, she put a nice little trick in there. It knocks everybody down, including herself. She gets knocked out for like 3 hours. You have Triple Zero, who just goes on a massacre and kills all these stormtroopers, hangs the one Imperial commander guy upside down, and tortures him to the point where he would give the information, this card, to him. And he just takes it too far, I think. I mean, the blood is everywhere. This guy is just mercilessly killed. So seeing that, somebody hanging in Star Wars, wow, I didn't think I would actually see something like that, and they definitely hit the mark on this. I thought it was cool that Aphra actually did that whole thing with the seismic pulse. Very, intelligent to be able to always have a backup plan. That's what's so good about Dr. Aphra being such a cunning person. We also see that Tolvin has become a rebel. That is one of the rewards that Aphra received from Triple Zero for, helping save his life, pretty much. He gives her this holocam recording of Tolvin at some base with Mon Mothma and Sanastaros. And, well, she's in rebel gear. She is a full traitor to the rebellion, and this, evokes a very strong emotional reaction in Dr. Aphra. She starts, tearing up, and it's really funny because throughout this, Triple Zero keeps telling Aphra, stop leaking, stop crying, and it's just funny the way he puts it. So I enjoyed that. There's always that comedic element, even though this issue is very serious, very emotional, because then we find out that Aphra actually has the information about 000. Remember, we got that information about his origins like 6 or several months ago, we'll put it that way. And BT couldn't encrypt it. She's the only one that could encrypt it. She lets 000 see, because she finds out that, hey, look, 000 has been the only relationship that I've actually had. That's how sad her life is. She depends on a droid this much. And I mean, we've seen this a lot in Star Wars, where people depend on droids a heck of a lot. I mean, you see Cassian and K2, you see Lando and L3. So droids are very important to people, and 000 is no different as far as Doctor Aphra is concerned. So he sees his origins, and basically what happened is this person was just messing up. Remember, he's a Matrix. He wasn't made in a droid shell. He was basically just a brain that they were developing, a electronic brain, and it was missing all the elements that make people human, basically. So they said, this is a waste, this is a fluke, let's throw it out. Well, somehow he goes from being an electronic box to getting inside this assistant droid, which is the protocol droid body that he inhabits now, I'm guessing. And that is what happens. He becomes, I guess, mind erased, so he doesn't know what happened. But anyway, he finds out this news that, he was basically a failure. And that sets 000 off. So to actually see that personality of him just saying, look, I'm gonna basically kill myself. That is pretty heavy stuff for Star Wars. Even though he is a droid, he is going to just kill himself, and in doing that, gonna kill Dr. Aphra with him. But yeah, this issue just really hit home how attached I am to these characters, which is why it evokes such a strong emotional reaction to me reading this. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect it to go this deep. Plus the big reveals of 000 make this one of the best Star Wars ongoing comics that we have to date under the Marvel banner. So definitely check out Dr. Aphra. It is going to be, I think, one more issue in this arc, so I cannot wait to see how it all ends. Moving over to another excellent title we had this week is the miniseries Darth Vader, or actually just Vader, Dark Visions, issue number 2. So this one is all about Vader not even really being in the story at all for the most part. He is really just in the background. That's what I really like about this issue, is that we have this Imperial officer who has let this rebel spy go to hyperspace. And, well, this particular Imperial commander, Talix, he has had a run with Vader before, and it did not go well for his compatriots, who all were force choked and killed when they failed the mission. He was the only one left alive. Vader basically tells him, do not ever fail me again, or this will happen to you. So he is very, very scared for his life right now, because the Emperor did say he is sending Darth Vader to reward them on their efforts. And, well, when he lied about that the rebel actually has been captured but is actually gone away, this guy starts freaking out and says, you know what, I'm going to go after this guy if it kills me, and capture him before Vader gets by so he doesn't kill me. And, well, he drags along his whole entire crew of thousands of people aboard that Star Destroyer with him to the ends of the galaxy, basically, to chase down this spy in this U-Wing. He goes and breaks formation with his fleet of Star Destroyers. He goes through an asteroid field. Heck, I wasn't expecting this. He even goes through a freaking exogorth. Yeah, the big-ass worm that was in Empire Strikes Back. A Star Destroyer goes through that thing and out the other side, ripping a big-ass fissure in this thing to get through to this guy. So Commander Talix even goes to the point where he has Minox that are all over the Star Destroyer. He's trying to bring in this U-Wing, tries to use the tractor beam. They say, look, the Minox have destroyed the Star Destroyer. All of our electronics are fried. Even our shields are down. The U-Wing, I guess, called in backup from all these rebel ships, and they just destroy the Star Destroyer. And this guy just goes down with the ship. But not long before, Darth Vader boards the ship and personally executes him. So that's what I really enjoyed about the story, is that Vader is a constant threat, but he is not seen until one particular moment way at the end. That, to me, just they just basically harnessed and captured this feeling of dread and fear so well in this comic book that I hadn't seen anything like it, and it actually made me more fearful for Vader just from this guy's facial reactions and how he was reacting, to the point where he was sacrificing his own men and TIE fighters. All his men died because this guy is trying to survive. Just him is putting everybody else's life on the line. This is like your stereotypical Imperial guy who is just a jerk, just trying to survive himself, trying to just, get up in station and whatnot. Looking at specific things, first off is seeing Calf in Star Wars. I know it's just a very minute thing. I love seeing mundane things in Star Wars. Just like the guy having a cup of coffee. Yeah, and this is all going before things start turning for the worse for him. I did like seeing that Vader PTSD, that scene, and it just carries through for everything else. And the panel design is excellent. They do this great artwork as far as like the panels are situated to look like a Star Destroyer. At one point, it looks like part of the Star Destroyer is broken off from the Rebel fleet attacks. So cool stuff there. I am digging this miniseries more than I thought I would. I didn't know what I was getting into, especially after reading Charles Soule's magnificent run on Star Wars Darth Vader. And we are getting into some really awesome stories when it comes to Darth Vader. The last issue we had for the premiere of this 5-part miniseries was all about looking at Vader as an absolute hero, which we never see. This one is looking at him as an absolute monster and somebody that needs to be feared. So it's nice seeing Vader from these different lenses of different perspectives of different characters all throughout the galaxy with these different kind of jobs. So I cannot wait to see what Vader's love interest is going to be like in issue number 3 coming out next month. Finishing up comics for this week, we have Star Wars Adventures issue number 19, focused on the Clone Wars. We have 2 stories. One of them is called Roger Roger. The other one is called The Big March. So in Roger Roger, we have Captain Rex behind enemy lines. He is trying to find Anakin Skywalker, cannot find him to call him for help. He is under attack. Then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, and just kicking butt, just saving Captain Rex's life. They are in a gunfight. Rex shoots one of the battle droids in the head, doesn't quite kill it, but it sends it into an override mode, which makes it very much an ally to Rex and Obi-Wan. So this thing ends up fighting for them and gets them out of a lot of buy-ins. They use an AAT to get out of there, and they finally meet up with Anakin Skywalker. So all in all, very action-heavy. And it was fun to see another battle droid that is sympathetic to the Republic. This reminded me a lot of the droid from the Aftermath trilogy of books there. Then we also have another battle droid story, and this one's called The Big March. And this is all about a battle droid on this other planet. They are taking off in their troop aboard an MTT transport. This one droid didn't fasten himself correctly, so he falls out of the back of the MTT. Then he is in the wilderness, so it's all about him surviving, meeting all these indigenous species that are very violent, and he's trying to survive. He does get rescued by his men again, who really just don't appreciate him as far as the other battle droids are concerned. And it looks like by the end of this issue, he purposely falls off and says, this isn't the life for me. So it's neat to see from both of these 2 stories that battle droids kind of do have a mind for their own. They're not all, programmed that, in case something goes wrong, I guess they can adapt with their programming. So overall, fun stuff for Star Wars Adventures issue number 19. This just came out. We have a brand new announcement, not of a book, but an audio novel. This is called Dooku, Jedi Lost. So this is going to be all about Dooku before he turned to the dark side, which if you've read Age of Republic, Count Dooku issue number 1, you know that he actually turned to the dark side before the events of the Phantom Menace. So this is all framed from the point of view of Asajj Ventress as his acolyte or apprentice. She is starting up and she's finding out about the history of Dooku. What excites me is this is not a novel, it's an audiobook. It's going to be narrated by Mark Thompson, who has done plenty of work with Star Wars narration, but it's going to have a full cast that is voicing this. So I'm thinking we're going to get a lot of these Clone Wars actors to reprise the roles in this. It's going to be fantastic because this is the one way I'm going to get into audiobooks, because for me, especially as somebody who reviews the books, I like to have a hard copy because I'm always trying to make notes and going back, reading different things, and just not doing an audiobook because it's easier for me to read it. So being forced to actually listen to it this way is going to be quite an experience. I cannot wait. The best part is this thing's coming out in like a month. April 30th it's going to be out. So there's basically no lead time. We're going to get Master and Apprentice the second week of, or the third week of April. And then like 2 weeks after that or whatever, we're going to have another story. And I feel like those are going to go hand in hand. Master and Apprentice is also before the Phantom Menace. So yeah, lots to look forward to when it comes to Star Wars books. We are really getting into that area. After Queen's Shadow has been released, we're going to have releases almost every month from this point. into probably 2020 with all the stuff that's probably going to come out with episode 9 for sure. And finishing up things for this week, we did have an update in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it was a long-awaited update because with it, it brings Capital Supremacy. This is a large-scale game mode that was teased back at E3. It includes an assault on capital ships. You start off on Geonosis, then depending on how far you get as far as reinforcements from the capture points, you can either go to a Separatist Dreadnought or a Venator class Republic Star Destroyer to destroy it from the inside out. It also introduces 2 new infiltrator classes. For the Republic, you get the ARC Troopers, and for the Separatists, you get the BX Commando Droids. They also do have a new skin for Count Dooku, and it's called the Exquisite Pajamas, as seen in the Clone Wars. Plus, we get some lightsaber combat changes that have to do with stamina. So lots to enjoy. One of the biggest updates in Star Wars Battlefront 2 to date. So moving over to my question of the week, come to me on Twitter from Robin McCormick. He asks, what do you think of the First Order being the sequel trilogy villains? So I think it was kind of lame when I first seen that there's, more stormtroopers, more TIE fighters. Looks all very similar to the original trilogy, and I'm sure that was part of the plan to get people back into Star Wars, right? It had been 10 years. They wanted to get as many folks back into it. What better way than kind of having nostalgia trips? So I understand that. But then when you dig further into the lore itself, you realize that this would be sort of a logical step for a tyrannical kind of government that got splintered to form into a more radical version of themselves. And that's what the First Order was brought up on, as a lot of these ex-Imperials that were on the run from the New Republic. They go to the unknown regions and they build themselves back up. They knew what went wrong. They aimed to improve on what wrong. And we already see that in The Force Awakens, right? They are improving their death-dealing weapons. Instead of having a machine that's going to go around and destroy one planet at a time, they have Starkiller Base that will destroy multiple planets in an entire system in one fell swoop. You also have hyperspace tracking technology, which the Empire had never cracked. So the First Order, while on the surface level it may appear that, hey, this is just Empire 2.0, it is a little bit more than that, because these people are being bred from birth to be disciplined, to be the best of the best out there. They are crack shots. These guys are not just, the guys hired, in the back alley of Mos Eisley as stormtroopers. These guys know what combat is like, and they have definitely survived some heavy times in the unknown regions, which I'm looking very much forward to. So overall, as a sequel trilogy villains, I actually do enjoy it quite a bit. And again, I'm just really looking forward to learning more about their backstory and where they're going to go if they ever go anywhere past episode 9. So you guys can get your questions in to me through Twitter using hashtag Star Wars Weekly. You can @ me at Starrapter, if that makes sense. As far as YouTube, you can just simply comment in the comment section below using hashtag Star Wars Weekly. So next week, you guys can look forward to the Age of Rebellion maxi series, starting out with Princess Leia issue number 1. We also have Star Wars issue number 64, as well as the solo adaptation issue number 7, which will finish up the solo adaptation. So if you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section below. Are you reading Doctor Aphra? How are you enjoying Vader? Dark Visions? Let's talk about it all in the comment section below. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do this every single week, so if you like this video, make sure you go ahead and support the channel simply by subscribing. My name is Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @ Starrapter.